Okay, in tonight's demonstration, I'm going to do a number of things. And since we're in the holiday season and everybody seems to be making cards, I stamped a whole bunch of paper. Another student in the Monday Mixed Media I think she went to Nepal, and I said, bring me back some paper. So she brought back it was a book of this really nice handmade paper, and I took it apart and I've been stamping on it. And what I did was I had a block of wood and I put that adhesive foam stamp with adhesive foam, and I cut it and made different patterns on each side. I drew in some marks, and so I'm just going to show you my papers, and then I may stamp one just to hopefully inspire you. So this is just this really simple, like, I cut out 3 adhesive shapes. And I rolled out some ink on my jelly plate. It was 2 colors, and then used that as my stamp pad. But at the end, it was rather interesting, and I pulled a print from that. So these are all the different patterns that I got. And I can use this as wrapping paper, or I could use it as collage paper, bits and pieces or background. Okay. So I'm going to use Prussian blue, and I'm going to put a little bit of this high flow iridescent gold on there and just see what I get. And with the high flow, my experience is a little bit goes a long way. Of course, it's dried in the bottle and I can't squeeze it out. So I'm going to have to pour a little bit on here. And this metallic or this iridescent gold, it's going to blend a little bit with the Prussian blue and give it a sparkly, should be sort of sparkly looking. You can't really see it, but from my end, I can see the iridescence. And I'll try stamping as many sides as I can. So I can do it in an orderly manner, or I can do it in an, overall manner. Another thing that's fun to do is just roll directly with your brayer and then do some stamping. So do some swoops. you know, and once this paper dries, I could even come back in and put some other colors in if I wanted to. Okay, so that's that idea. And I don't know what, look, I'm going to see if I can pull a print off of here from what's left. Don't know if it'll be interesting or not. I'm just using this piece of deli paper. Sometimes you'll get these random marks that are interesting. Okay, now I'm going to move on to doing some more layers. So we did that last week. That's what, Karen, you were showing us, what you'd done some more layers. And I thought I'd go into that. Like, what if you want to add some more, or you're not sure where to go next? Okay, so I did this in Monday's class. We had brayered in background marks, but I thought, well, you could use a wide brush and use that structure to build collage material on. So here's a similar one. And then before I came online, I glued on some collage material, and I put a background wash. I thought the white was too stark. And so I'm going to do some more layering with that. And then I also picked this piece that it just really wasn't working for me. I think I did throw it out, and then I pulled it out of the trash can. I thought, well, what could I do with that? Is there anything there that's salvageable or I could add on? And something about this shape was odd. And so I thought, well, this looks kind of like water. And I went through my collage material, and I thought, this has blues in it. Maybe if I get rid of this bottom section, it'll make more sense. So I got a couple choices there. So I'm going to Mod Podge this down and then work on the other. I'm going to work back and forth, both pieces. So glue this down with Mod Podge to give it a little chance to dry while I work on the other one. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. It's all trial and error. And usually I figure something else out that's interesting along the way. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for a minute, and then there needs to be more work up here. This feels maybe too white. Okay, so some other things I could do with this. Maybe some stencil work in this area here. So I've got this stencil that's got illegible writing on it, but it's interesting script. So I think I'm going to overlay that. And something that would be fun to do is you can get a whole bag of these makeup sponges and just sponge in your through your stencil. So I'm going to go with, let's see, sap green. Actually, I'll just put it right here on the jelly plate. Sap green, and I can't really say this, anthraquinone blue. Maybe some sepia. Just going to put it all on here in the plate. Okay. And I like these makeup sponges because I can kind of let other, different colors blend together. All right. And I'm just holding this stencil down firmly. If that's hard for you, you can just tape it down to make sure it doesn't scooch. You don't need a lot of paint. Actually, taping would be a good idea because I can lift it up like a hinge and see if I need to do more, want to do more stamping. So I'm just going to put it right there. Okay, so that's what I have thus far. I like that. My first time using this stamp or this stencil. Okay, now I'm going to move it down. And if you don't have any stencils, you can either buy some or you can use things that you find like netting. Tape that down and get interesting patterns. Okay. All right. I kind of like that. It's almost like someone had done some old script and then took a big brush and swooshed across the page. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and then there's more I can do with that. All right, back to this one. Okay, so I have this other stencil that I think it's supposed to be, it's like knitting or something on a sweater. And when I look for stencils, I like something with an overall pattern. I don't usually pick things that are, what's the word? Can't think of it. I just want to go for the straight pattern, not really somebody else's artistic design. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, wow. All right. So I can see possibilities already here. When this dries, I could put a wash in here, like a yellow, possibly. All right. Now I'm coming back to this one. What if I think this writing is too bold and I want to push some of that back? This is where our friend the brayer comes in. And oftentimes people will go over with white, like something a little more transparent, so I can still see the writing, but I'm just knocking it back a little bit. And I'm not going for masterpiece here. I'm just, this is really, tonight, it's just different techniques, different layering techniques. And this is more opaque, but the brayer tends to put down a rather somewhat transparent layer. So let's see what this does. Yeah, that knocks it back a little bit. And then also overlapping some of your collage materials, like right here, makes it feel a little bit more integrated or embedded into your piece. And it feels a little bit more freeing, less fussy working with the brayer than maybe a brush. Okay. So now I've pushed it towards more of a blue, kind of a turquoisey blue painting with yellow in there. Let's say I want to go more, hang on.
Do you use regular white or that transparency kind of white?
This isn't white. This is a light phthalo green. And the thing, it's an opaque paint, but when anything you roll out with the brayer tends to put, it's like a steamroller, right? It puts down a really thin sheet of paint so that you will get some transparency. I don't know, wonder if I can scrape at this point. Not so much. I was thinking if I wanted to scrape some areas and bring them forward more, I'd have to work pretty quickly, and I've waited too long. Trying to think what else I can do here. Using this really thin palette knife. And I'm going for more impasto. And then I have the other new palette knife that I like that's got the teeth in it, like a comb tool. So it's a really, really fine comb tool. I can do another one if people, you can't really see that. I'll go one more and then I'll probably end. Okay. Okay, any other questions before? I think that was it.
I have another question. How did you make your original things? Was that just painted, you just painted some paint on there, or did you use?
Okay, so I took my, for this, this is how this one started. I just took a big, wash brush with liquid black paint, and I just made some swoops, a whole bunch of these, thinking this will be my structure that I'll layer collage material on. And that's what I did here. I layered collage material and then I added paint. I wanted to show another way of layering. So there's that one. Yeah.
So it's a collage then. It's not a paint. It's not just paint.
It's collage. It's so, because we're in mixed media, I'm always trying to figure out how do we integrate all of these things. And I'm trying to do it in a manner that's a little more fluid or not so uptight, right? So that's why I started with this really loose brush mark, like there's my structure. And then I start getting little pieces and arranging them. So this acts as my structure, my compositional structure that then I add and build layers of paint and collage material on.
So is that how you did the other one too?
Yeah. Well, last week I was showing using the brayer, and then I added more layers here with more collage material my stenciling, and there's more I could build on here with paint.
It looks like a head with a cap on it.
Okay.